All right, boys and girls, so we are going to start with number 5, skipping number 4. We're going to skip number 4 and save it for last. So make sure you're on number 5 with me. And the question says, Ben wants to run 5/12 miles. He has already run 1/4 mile. Use the fraction strips below to determine the fractional part of a mile that Ben has left to run. Alright, so I'm going to read that again so I can kind of think about what's happening. So it says, Ben wants to run 5/12 mile. So right there, I'm going to stop and I'm going to think about, well, what does 5/12 look like? So I'm going to draw a unit bar. I'm going to cut it in half. And my denominator is 12, so I'm thinking, well, I need 12 equal pieces, so I need 6 on one side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I need 6 on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I should have 12 equal pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Remember, we're going to pretend that these are all equal. So I have 5/12 of the mile. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have almost a half of it. Alright, and then he has already run 1/4 of a mile. So he's already taken some of this and he ran it. We don't know what 1/4 is, but we know that it's a part of the 5/12. And so we've got to figure out, well, what is left over? What is left to run? So when I think about that, I'm thinking, well, this is my 5/12 is my total. I'm starting with 5/12. I'm going to write that out. I'm running part of it, which is 1/4, and I need to figure out what is left. So very quickly over here to the side, I'm going to use an estimate to kind of help guide my thinking. So when I think about 5/12, I know 6/12 is a half. So I'm thinking that 5/12 is about 1/2. And a fourth, well, a fourth could be two things. It could be 0, which means that I would have about a half left, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because I know that I've already ran some of that mile. Or if I think about 5/12 being a half and 1/4 on its way to being a half, then that means that I've almost run the whole thing. So here's what that tells me with my estimate. My estimate's going to be somewhere, or my exact answer is going to be somewhere between the number 0 and 1/2. So I'm also noticing that I have this picture model and I'm subtracting, but I do not have common denominators. So what I'm going to need to do is find common denominators. So remember, we're going to take that lower denominator name, 4, and we're going to make an EFT, and we're going to try to find 12ths. So very neatly on your paper, right over here at the end of this sentence, let's make an EFT for 1/4. And you might have to write kind of tiny, but we want to leave ourselves plenty of room for solving. So I have 1/4. And that's 2, counting by ones on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to make my little spacers so I can read my information. I'm going to count by 4s on the bottom. So I have 4, 8, and 12. And I'm going to stop right there because I noticed right away that another name for 1/4 is 3/12. So I'm going to rewrite my fraction underneath, kind of like when we were solving expressions. 5/12 minus 3 12ths. Because remember, another name for 1/4 is 3/12ths. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract. So we have 5/12ths minus 3/12ths, which will give me 2/12ths, which is somewhere between 0 and 1/2. So that is logical. That is a reasonable answer. But now when I'm looking at that, I'm thinking to myself, well, the number 2 is even and the number 12 is even. So I bet I can think of another name. So I want to simplify this name from 2/12ths to something else. So I'm going to find my wonderful 1, but I need to figure out what that is. So my factors for the number 2, 1 and 2. I could write those down right up here, 1 and 2. And my factors for 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. And so I'm looking for the highest number that they share. The highest number that they share, of course, is 2. So I'm going to divide by 2 halves on the top and the bottom, and I'm going to rename this fraction. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. And so a much smaller, simplified way of thinking about 2/12ths is 1/6.